Kieran here from Boxer Bants, and very glad. I'm actually kind of devastated actually today because I was gonna be finally get to go down to Pete's gym, but unfortunately with the lockdown in Dublin, that wasn't to be. And I was going to interview Niall Kennedy as well today, so I'm very devastated I couldn't do that. But happy to have Tyrone Mc Kenna. How are you, Tyrone?
I'm all good. Just training. It's in the fight now. Fight week, more or less. So my weight's all good. My fitness is there, and I'm just waiting to go in and punch the head of OHara Davies.
You seem to be doing a lot of media obligations at the moment. It must be getting quite repetitive at this stage, is it?
It's insane, though, mate. See, even before lockdown, no one really done Zoom calls or anything like that. See now, even when lockdown stopped, people just kept on doing Zoom calls. It's just a normal thing now to get Zoom call after Zoom call after Zoom call. So my days off is still doing interviews.
Yeah, I still love the face-to-face interviews. I just find it better, more authentic, and you build more of a relationship with the boxer, you know, because it's just because you're having the chat before it, you're having the chat after it, you're chatting with everyone, and you're in the gym and stuff. Whereas this is just it comes up, I speak to you, and then when we're done, then you just log off. You know what I mean? So it's not as
not even me, but I don't have to leave the hotel.
Yeah, but I think I'm the only one that got a topless Tyrone Mc Kenna, though, you know, so I don't know.
I'm not joking. Stay at the hotel room. It's like a fucking sauna. Like, there's only one window in it, or one window you can open. And the weather that Dublin's been having is insane. So, it's roasting.
Yeah. You kind of did like an online head-to-head with OHara during the week. How did that go?
Mm-hmm. Do you know what? It was because it was Zoom, it was hard to interrupt and say what you wanted to say because you had to give them time to speak, and then it's your turn to speak and stuff like that. So it wasn't the same as being like, as you say, head to head in real life. So I think it was a bit more reserved than it would have been. We're doing one on Monday, real life, so we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, this one was more reserved. He was just saying how he's going to knock me out, and how I ain't going to bother him. Yeah, basically that was the gist of it.
You know what's funny though, when I watched it, when he's like a lot of people say OHara isn't really that person when you meet him. Do you think you can kind of see more kind of through him when you're watching it on the Zoom call? Because you can kind of see that he's not being fully authentic. It's almost like tongue in cheek what he's saying.
Yeah, well, I've always thought that, to be honest. Like, I have always seen through what he's doing. The guy loves wrestling growing up, so I know where he's getting it from. He's just trying to be one of them be wrestlers that they get their name out by saying shit. And he's done it. He's done what he's said to, but in the process, he's got hated. He's got really disliked and no fans for it. So I think that kills him. I think it really bugs him that who he's created is disliked so much. But he's made his wee charade, and he has to play it from now on anyway.
Do you think like everyone talks about like he's a fair thump on him, a fair left hand, but do you think that he's kind of looked into a lot? Like he got interviewed. I remember he was on toe to toe in 2017, the end of the year after he lost to Josh Taylor, and he said that they asked him, "How would you beat him if you fought him again?" And he says, "I don't know, but I beat him." And they said, "Why don't you know?" He says, "I don't watch boxing." He says, "I've never watched any of my opponents, and my trainer always gives me DVDs or whatever, or sends me videos and says, watch this." And he goes, yeah. But he says he never watches it. He never watches any opponent. He just says, if I fight Josh Taylor, and I'll beat him. Like, but do you think that he's kind of really looked at you or analysed you? Like, because he kind of said before that when you called him it before, he kind of just brushed it under the carpet.
No, he's definitely 100%. There's no man alive that's going into a fight and has never watched their opponents. You have to. I mean, curiosity killed the cat. You're going to always look and see what you think of your opponents. look, the other day, he went on Pete Taylor's, not even on my Instagram, he went on Pete Taylor's Instagram and scrolled down 2 or 3 weeks and started commenting on it. So that shows you the kind of attitude and mindset he has, that he's that worried. He goes to my coach's page, he scrolls down and see videos of me. Like, I don't go on his coach's page because I don't care. I know what he is, I know what he's like, I know how he boxes, and I don't need to see how his training's going. But he's looking to see how my training's going. If there's any videos of me barn, is there any videos of me in hitting pads? And that's actually showed me that he's a bit weak going into this mentally. And yeah, he's showing a bit too much before the fight.
Do you think like yourself, like when you were offered the opportunity for the contract, like I know you were delighted and you kind of took it with both hands, and because not only when you win it you get a big opportunity, but the people that you've beaten, if you've won it, you don't really fancy it. But do you think he was kind of almost, he never seemed really keen to go into it? Do you think he was kind of roped into it?
He was 100%. I know for a fact he was. He was talked and then he was told, look, this is what you have to go into, and he was put into it. He didn't want to be in it at all. He hasn't wanted to fight me. I've offered him a fight numerous times. I've offered him a fight when he came off a loss, and I had a belt in the field that we were trying to get it, the McConnell show, and that was a massive show, and he still turned it down. So he's never ever wanted to fight me, and there's a reason why he doesn't want to fight me. It's not because he doesn't think I'm in his level, because he's fought plenty of people that are less level than me. So I believe he knows I'll beat him, and he's never wanted to fight me, and now he's been backed in the corner. He saw my name in the golden contract lineup. I said no, he doesn't want to fight me, and that's period. That's it. And he's been backed in the corner. He said the other day in the Sky Sports interview that he's backed in the corner. He said that he turned down a Tyrone fight numerous times. He doesn't think I'm on his level, but now he's back in the corner and he has to fight me. So Tyrone got his way. So he's just shown that he's never wanted to fight me. If it was that easy, he would have said, yep, I'll fight him in that big, massive field of park with good money, a nice belt, beat Tyrone Mc Kenna, and then go home. But he obviously knows I'm a dangerous fighter.
Do you think, in terms of inside the ring, would you say in terms of, I suppose IQ or whatever, would you say you'd be more intelligent than him as a boxer?
100%. Like, I have been boxing since I was 6, 7 years old. I've been in boxing clubs all my life, and that's not even like, that's literally been in a boxing club all my life. So I've grew up boxing. I've seen every single style, every single opponent. I've fought them all, and I gathered all that experience, all that ring IQ, with me into the pro ranks. I've had he's only had a handful of amateur fights, probably novice fights, and then he turned pro. He hasn't fought that much people. Even when he's in the ring, he does everything basic. There's nothing special about him. There's nothing smart. He doesn't set traps. He doesn't do anything like that. Doesn't do feints or nothing. So yeah, I think I'm levels above him in an IQ. I have to be, because I've been here for the last 22 years, 23 years. So and he's only been boxing, I don't even know how long, about 8, 9 years. So yeah, I'm confident that I've more IQ than him, faster than him, smarter than him, better footwork than him, more grit, more balls than him. The one thing he has on me is two things: reach and power, and that's it. He's an awkward fighter, but as I said, with ring IQ and being a smart boxer, you should be able to work out your opponent in one round.
It's funny when you say that, because I don't know if you remember this, but when you were fighting Mamoon, he was doing some commentary on your fight. I don't know if you remember. Obviously, Sky had their own scorecards, and at the time, I think they had Mamoon ahead. But they asked him. They said, "O'Hara, what do you think of the fight so far?" And he said, "Yeah, I definitely have Tyrone losing here at the moment." And he says
he was only here.
Sorry.
He had only joined the commentary. He hadn't seen the fight. He said,
yeah. But he said, they asked him, they said, "Oh yeah, I definitely have him losing." And then they said, he said, "What does he need to do?" I don't know. He has to just do something, but I don't know what it is. Like that was his answer.
Well, man, it shows that he doesn't have a boxing brain or whatever you want to call it. So I feel I'm going to be outclassing in every department.
Mhm. What do you think of when he lost to Josh Taylor? Obviously, like I know you said before, like he's quit before, and you've taken a lot from that, especially against other southpaws. But he said in toe to toe after that year in 2017, he said that one of the reasons why he didn't prepare properly for that fight because he was having problems with his girlfriend, and he said that he was with a mad girlfriend and she was doing stuff to his car, like she tried to light his car on fire and stuff like that. And he said that's the reason why he lost. Do you take confidence from stuff like that? That stuff like that affects him so much because you've kind of been on the road in boxing like pretty much your whole life, and you said before like your missus is almost like a second parent at home, looking after family.
Yeah,
Do you think that mentally in and outside the ring that makes you more stronger than him in terms of stuff that
yeah.
he
I've
said?
always said that I believe OHara Davies is very mentally weak. Uh, you can see it, and you can see it going up the fights when he's going up to these big fights with Jack Catterall and Josh Taylor and stuff. You can see that he's not the same kind of guy. Even with me, I mean, he was abusing me for 4 years, and then when the fight actually gets announced, he starts saying I'm a terrific fighter, starts saying I'm a good fighter because he doesn't want that pressure on him. He doesn't like having that kind of pressure that he has to batter someone because there's this big grudge on the line. But it just shows that he's never really mentally confident when he's getting up to the big fights. I don't think he believes in himself. He knows he doesn't have a good boxing brain, a good boxing background. So I think when he does step up levels, he gets worried and he starts doubting himself. I think that shows in a lot of fights.
Mhm. In what I was just saying there, like obviously you being on the road all the time, and pretty much one of the reasons why you and Tyrone have always been so close is because you've had to live with each other, living away and fighting. But have you thought? I imagine you've thought a lot about how winning will change your lifestyle. Do you think it will? Have you thought about it a lot, like how much it'll change?
Yeah, but every day. I mean, every single day, I wake up or before bed, I'd be lying in bed saying, and the next week, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to change my kids' lives. I'm going to be able to buy the things that houses, a new car. I'm going to be able to afford a lot of luxuries. But it's also validating the years of having nothing, having no money coming in, and my missus paying for everything. And that's going to, like I said, next week, that all my budget is going to be validated. It's going to be worthwhile. I mean, when I was broke and she was paying for everything, I kept on saying, look, I'll be getting money, but you never know if it's actually going to happen or it actually is worth it. The
Mhm.
the 4 years, 5 years of not getting paid much. But now, once I win this, it'll all be worth it. It'll all be worthwhile. And I keep on thinking that. I keep thinking about that. That's why I believe I can't compete next week. There's too much riding on for me. There's too much. I have too much whys and too much reasons to win. And I don't think he has that same kind of drive and motivation.
Not to look too far ahead, but and aside from the money, obviously with the gold contract, but there's been a lot of talk about how much of an opportunity it is. But in terms of what the actual contract is, like, is it solely with MTK and Sky? Is it, and do you have X amount of fights with the organizations, or do you know how it works in that aspect? Like how many fights you'd have?
Well, it's I know what promoter I'll be getting signed to. It'll be 5 fight deal for 2 years.
Right.
There's
Okay.
six figures for each fight minimum.
Oh, okay.
So it's a massive opportunity. It's a massive deal.
So
Yeah,
it's not necessarily with Sky or Eddie Hearn or anything like that. It's
yeah,
just it's just a big contract with a promoter, basically. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Um.
No, it's nothing about Sky. Like, no.
No, right, okay. I was thinking maybe that's why O'Hara was reluctant to do it in case he went to go back to Sky, you know.
No, no.
Yeah. But with yourself, like it's great because the division in itself, I know Josh Taylor is looking to unify with Ramirez, and Ramirez has his mandatory with Jack Carroll. But almost before that, you could almost have a fight with Jack, or like almost like an eliminator, or even what would even be better for all of you is if Josh fought Ramirez, and then I imagine
Like,
who would ever win would vacate all the belts.
yeah, I believe Ramirez said and Josh Taylor said once they unify, they're moving up to the weight division. So my hope is that they do fight and they move up, and then there's a lot of vacant belts and a lot easier fights than them too. But you know what? If it comes down, I'd love to fight Ramirez as well. I mean, I've always wanted to go to America and have a massive fight. A world title fight against Ramirez would be unbelievable. But who knows? I don't really care about what that kind of future is. I just care about OHara Davies doing it.
Yeah, yeah. So the week that's coming up now, I know it's you're starting to you'll be making weight and stuff like that, but what? So you're flying out to London in a couple of days.
It's not London no more.
It's not
Not
London.
London no
Sorry,
more.
sorry.
It's Wakefield.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Where a lot of the MTK shows have been already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fighting on Wednesday, so I'm flying out this Sunday. Weigh on the Tuesday, and then fight on the Wednesday. Can't wait.
And the setup that's always been around because of the virus has almost been like a bubble, not literally a bubble like skies, but basically you go in, you get tested, and you're in your room for so long. I imagine that's what you're going to be doing for this one.
Yeah. I don't know the ins and outs of what the crack is, but I know Monday we get a COVID test, and then we have to sit in the room for 24 hours and hopefully pass.
Mm. The the actual whole setup now without crowds, I'm sure you've been asked this loads of times. But do you think that
Well,
the no crowds will play into your hands because from being an amateur for so many years, do you think the no crowd will side with you?
not even because of that. So, well, see, when I was amateur, I used to fight in obviously club shows, and club shows are always local bars that are packed with
Yeah,
people. And I always used to fight. I used to win, but I used to be fight. I used to just get an award like I do in a box in pro, and
yeah.
then we'd go to all Ireland's, and there'd be empty stadium, and I'd box unbelievable box instruction because I don't have, as I say, I've always like since I've started boxing, I've always been a guy that fights for the crowd. So when I went away to internationals and stuff, I've always boxed far better than I would if it was in a club show. And I think it's going to be very, very similar. I'm just not going to have a. There's a lot of pressure when you go when you are away fighting, and you've got 100 or 150, maybe 200 people going over to watch it, and you know they've spent money on flights, hotel, drink, uh, the fight ticket, and you know they're going over for an exciting fight. They don't want to see you run away for 10 rounds. So I always have a pressure. I have to please everyone, and I always do. But this one, I don't want to have that pressure. I'll just be like, no one's there, no one's wasted their money to get over here. So if I box and it's boring, I don't really care as long as I get the win here. At
Mhm.
the minute, usually going into fights, I'm all about entertaining because I want a big fight after, and entertaining people gets your name out there more, and then you get the bigger fights. But that's competition. The way it is, you don't need to entertain that much
Yeah.
because you're already guaranteed what's happening next. So
Yeah.
if I go out and it has to be a boring fight, it has to be a boring fight. I don't mind, but I don't think it will be. I think it's going to be very exciting. And I say all this, and then I get in there, and he punches me, and I say, "Fuck it," and get an award. So we never know. We don't know what'll happen, but I think without a crowd, it will be beneficial for me.
Yeah.
And OHara Davies, he's fought without a crowd for all his whole career. No fans.
Well, loads of fans for the other fella booing him. when he was fighting Derek Matthews and all that, like, you know, and he was standing in the press conference and he was literally giving the finger to everyone in the press conference because everyone was abusing him. But like it's the data setup. It's funny when you say that, but like even me growing up and some of my friends when we were boxing, and even now when I do the club show, it's totally different atmosphere because all your friends and it's like Carl Frampton says, you feel like you're a celebrity at the end of it because, you know, the older fellas always give you like a $5 or something like that, and you feel like you're some celeb, you know.
But there's a lot of pressure when there's crowd. When there is, even in sparring, like when there's no one there watches spar, you just spar completely different. You're more relaxed, and that's easy.
Oh yeah, and even watching sparring, when you have some people watching it, it definitely changes people. But no, that's it. It's kind of like the way you said, like when you win in this tournament, it doesn't really matter because you know it's guaranteed next. It's almost like when someone, no matter how exciting they've been in their career, when they fight for a world title, it doesn't matter how they win it because once they have the belt, they know the next fight is guaranteed. They'll make a lot of money. So it's kind of like your world title as of right now.
I have like during this, me winning this fight. This is the biggest fight I'll ever have in my life because this secures my whole life. And there will be no other fight after this or before this that's more important than this one because this is the one that's going to get me everything that I've dreamed of.
Yeah. And obviously, financially, you'll always be secure, but as long as you still want to chase the legacy, everything else will fall into place. Then you know,
it'll just be a lot easier. Everything will be a lot easier once I win this.
Yeah. Well, I think that's mostly it, Tom. But I'm really looking forward to watching the fight. It's the 21st now, so 9 days till the fight.
Long night.
Yeah, I'd say you just can't wait now to get a point in your throat afterwards.
I'm choking for a pint, I swear to God. See, it's typical. See, when I'm in camp, it is always fucking roasting. And then when I get out of camp, guaranteed it's going to be fucked. It's like in school, ever see when you do your tests in school and it's roasting, and then when you get out, it starts raining like fucking. Then you go back to school in September and it starts being roasting again.
Yeah. When you're doing your final exams as well, that was the worst. You'd be scorching.
Always.
Yeah, sitting in the grass and then you have to go back in for another 3-hour exam. But look, Tyrone, thanks very much, and I'm really looking forward to the fight. It's funny, it's great to have all the fights coming up as well because you know.
Yeah, fair enough. Buzzing again.
Yeah. And then, so if people want to catch all the build up, I imagine they just go to Sky Sports on YouTube, Sky Sports on TV to catch all the build up and the fight itself. Yeah.
Indeed. Get on to get tuned in. Watch the Manny Cal win the golden contract. Boom.
Right. Well, thanks very much, Tom. All right. Okay.
Glad.
And I'll chat to that. Thanks very much. Bye bye.